So right now you might be really enticed by all of these mortgage interest rates, which are incredibly low. Every day we follow the mortgage interest rates in our daily newsletter at morninginvest.com. And the rates are always like right around 3%. Or even the 15-year note, the 15-year mortgage is like, under 2% or around 2% right now. It's crazy. So a lot of you are going out trying to find a home right now, sell a home, upgrade your home, refinance your home. And I got this question yesterday from John in Texas. Great question. We want to buy a house because of the low interest rates, and we found a house that is larger than we need. We really like it. Our mortgage payment would only go up by about $50 a month for the larger house. Should we buy it? Okay. So it's a great question because you could be allured to this idea of getting a larger property. You're seeing this lower mortgage rate and you're thinking, oh, the payment won't really go up that much. So you're going to get more bang for your buck, right? Larger house, more land, more bedrooms, and my mortgage payment is not going to go up that much. So great. That's a positive, right? That your mortgage payment won't move that much and these interest rates are so low. But my question to you is, why would you want a larger house if you don't need it? People are buying too much house. And the problem, I think, in America right now, people are becoming house poor and people are buying too much of a house to live in. It's an interesting take right now where you have like millennials who are going the opposite direction, looking sort of more of a minimalist approach to house buying. And 40 and 50-year-olds who maybe couldn't get the larger house that they wanted a number of years ago, even though they don't need it, are now trying to upgrade to this larger property for no reason. So that $50, John, is a total lie. That $50 is not really $50. Yes, you're going to pay $50 more in your mortgage payment. For now, you're going to get this 5,000 square foot home instead of the 3,800 square foot home that you were going to get. Now you can get so much more. Right? More bedrooms. I can get a finished basement. All of this additional space. The thing that people don't remember, or the people that they forget about this, is that now all of that additional space is going to require upkeep. All of that additional space is going to require utility bills to heat. So that $50 extra per month is one thing, but now your insurance goes up. How much more will you now pay for a much larger property? How much more will you pay because you're having to heat that finished basement that you're never going to use? Or those additional rooms that you think you will use, but you won't. A lot of people forget that you really only have a certain amount of time for your kids to be home. I heard it once said to me, and it was really fascinating. This has always stuck with me. For people that are like, well, we're not going to go on spring break with the kids this year. We're going to skip it this year. We just didn't. We all couldn't get our schedules together. We couldn't figure it out. And if you think about it, how much time do you really have left with your kids when they're home? If you really put it down on paper, you're like, oh, well, they're 13 right now. You really only have like 5 spring break trips left till they're off on their own and 18, and they're not going to want to go on spring break with you. So do it. Do what you can, right? And a lot of people forget that those kids are going to be gone soon, off in college, or they're going to be moving it out on their own and doing their own thing. So for you to be upgrading to a larger house when your kids are like in high school or junior high school, and then what? And then they leave, and now you're left with this large house that you're never going to use those rooms, or you're going to convert them into. It's one woman I knew, she converted one room into like a present room, where like that was the present wrapping room. Isn't that the most American thing you've ever heard? A present wrapping room? She had a whole room devoted to wrapping presents. Really? You're going to pay extra for that in your property taxes and to heat that room and to cool that room? By the way, that house was in Florida. So she was paying air conditioning just for that room, for a present wrapping room. So you really need to get serious about the space that you actually need. We had a larger house a number of years ago, and we realized that it was worthless, that we were not spending time in a lot of these different rooms, and it was a waste. Most of the time, our kids wanted to be near us, so we were all in one room together. So we rent where we live, and we have a much smaller footprint, a much smaller space because we all love to just be near each other, you know? Now, if you're like me and you need like a separate space for a studio or something like that, or an office, you work from home and you know you need a dedicated office space, think about those things. But people are spending and buying too much house. The other thing you should remember is what happens if salaries change? You only should be spending about 25% of your take-home pay on a mortgage. 25% of your take-home pay should be spent on a mortgage. That's it. Adding that additional $50 a year is not just $50. It's adding the utility bills, the property taxes, the insurance, all of those additional costs. And for what? You admitted to me in this message, John, that you don't need it. We want to buy a house because of the low interest rates, and we found a house that is larger than we need. This is a problem in America. Buy that larger truck even though you don't need it. Buy that larger house even though you don't need it. Become house poor because you didn't need to. Then what happens when you buy this larger house? I had a friend up in Connecticut who bought this huge house, and he said, we bought the house and now we have no money left now to buy the furniture for it. So that's great that you got this larger house. You have all these additional rooms. What are they, just going to be empty rooms? You're going to do like a yoga studio in there because there's no furniture. Now you have to go out and start buying furniture for all these rooms. Now you have to clean these rooms. You got that nice big finished basement. What are you going to do? Turn it into a home theater? Going to buy a big screen TV? Going to buy big couches? Going to buy, build a bar? All of those things that you never end up using? Speaking from experience, it's a waste. So don't become house poor. Just because these interest rates are attractive, go the opposite direction. Go the opposite direction. Utilize these interest rates to invest in real estate, something that's going to produce cash flow for you every month. Right now, go out and find an investment property. Maybe set aside some of that extra money you'd spend on buying that larger house. Use that as a down payment to buy an investment property. Or are you out of debt totally? Pay off some debt, which we'll get to in our next segment. But you do not need a bigger house for no reason. And just think about how your family will change when those kids go off to college. And all of those additional rooms are going to become available, and you're going to wonder what the heck to do with them. Now, will you sell the house? So I'd love to hear your questions and feedback. You can leave me a voicemail message if you'd like, or drop a message right here in the comments below. You can go to morninginvest.com/Clayton. Leave me a voicemail, ask me a 30-second question about your personal finances, etc., and I will discuss them here on the show. And please don't forget to smash that like button and subscribe to the channel if you are new here. It really helps us. It helps get the message out to more and more people as we try to help you build financial freedom and navigate this crazy, corrupt banking system that so many people are victims of in this country. So thank you so much for that question, John.